My name's Classic. I'm here with the screen film community. I'm also a film and TV production student. Would it be alright if we ask you some questions today?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, great, fantastic. So let's start off. Could you tell us who you are and what your occupation is?
My name is Jesse Quinones, and I'm a writer, director, and producer working in film and television.
Wow, that's a lot of cool titles. A lot of cool titles.
Yeah, I probably should just pick one, but
yeah. Could I just ask? Sorry, where your name originates from?
so Quinones, it's Cuban.
Oh, Cuban.
My father's from Havana,
Oh,
Cuba,
okay.
but I'm born and raised in Miami, Florida.
All right, yeah. Sorry, because I was looking and I saw you had one of the accents on the end.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to pronounce that one.
Yeah, I used to not have it. Because I thought, oh, it confuses people not to just to have it. It's a tilde. But then I realized that they're getting my name wrong anyway, so I might as well put it. So
okay,
I actually just today I added the phonetic pronunciation of my name on my social media. So phonetically it'd be Keen, K-E-N, Yo, Y-O-N-E-Z, Quinones.
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 There you go.
Quinones.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely did not pronounce that right the first time.
It's all good.
That's great though. That's fantastic. Could you tell me just a bit about the content that you've created for film and TV?
Yeah. Maybe I will start at the present and work back. Most recently, I was a lead director on the show called Waterloo Road.
Waterloo Road, yeah.
Which is on BBC. It was off the air for like 10 years.
And yeah, it's been running for quite a while.
Yeah, and so they wanted to bring it back, and I was very blessed to be given the opportunity to be the lead director and come up with a whole new look and feel for the show, which I'm really proud of. So I did season 11, I was the lead director then, and then season 12. And I've just been asked to come back and do season 15, lead director on that, which would be in January. So that's the most recent thing. I've also done an episode of Inside Number 9, which is on BBC Two. And then I've also written and directed a couple feature films. My first was called Calloused Hands, and my second, Cage Fighter. And I got a few projects brewing at the moment. One is a feature film. I sold the script to Apple TV, so it's kind of in the works.
That's incredible.
Thank you.
That's incredible.
And so just sort of plugging away. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. It sounds like you're keeping busy as well because
strike even with the strike.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Oh, wow. Of course. That's a whole other thing.
A whole other kettle of fish.
That's a whole issue.
Yeah.
I'd just like to just bring it back and really ask you about your kind of where it began with your kind of upbringing, especially in the US. Obviously, you grew up over in Miami, Florida. You said.
Yeah.
How was that like? What was that like for you?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't grow up in a very film-oriented household. My mom, Miami in the 80s was kind of a crazy place, and I kind of had some bumps along the way in terms of just life and some challenges, but I think all those things really fed into who I am as a person and as a creative, so I wouldn't change anything, I'm still very, very proud of my roots in Miami, and I'm actually going there in a week for a holiday. And I would love to do more work there. So it's definitely a big part of who I am. Like Cuban culture, I always, even when I raise my son, I want him to be proud of his culture, and so it's definitely a part of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, I mean, obviously, the US is someplace I definitely want to see if I can visit myself one day.
Yeah.
I can just imagine it's a lot, bigger and crazier over there, but that's nice that you can look back at it and say
for sure
you can look at it through your eyes and
Absolutely.
definitely get that captured. That's something really great.
Absolutely.
Just delving into that, would you say anything in your upbringing that has affected and kind of really honed in on the craft and the content that you wanted to create and the stories you wanted to tell?
I mean, I guess one of the big things that influenced me was watching. My mom's a writer. She wrote a book years ago when I was about 19. And I think one of the experiences that really kind of shaped my own approach to my work is that when I saw her writing, she took years to write this book. And what I watched is that every day she'd sit in the chair and write. And that I just learned from watching that the only way to get something done is to actually sit down and do it, And so it's definitely influenced my own approach. I'm currently juggling three scripts at the moment, like one TV, one film. And I'm really regimented about kind of my schedule, and because I think at the end of the day, no one's gonna ask you or stay on top of you to like deliver, or they might, but they might ask you what's going on with it. But it really is on you to be a professional and hit your deadlines and all that kind of stuff. So I think watching my mother do that, and we were struggling a lot at the time, and yeah, without fail, she would sit down after work too, because she's working a full-time job, and write every day. Definitely influenced my own approach to just sort of sit my butt in the chair and write, and whatever I'm trying to, whether it's a page count I'm trying to hit or an amount of hours I'm trying to write. I'm pretty strict with it. So
yeah, no, that's the power of mother. It's the power of
single mother too.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Wow. Fantastic. If I could, as also let's bring it back a bit to your kind of current work. You worked on Calloused Hands. You said. I've had the privilege of being able to watch that. It was very, I could definitely see. Oh God, I don't go too much, but I enjoyed what I was watching. Could you tell us how that even how did it start? How did that whole project start?
So I wrote that watching my mother. I wrote that as a book first because I thought, let me try to be like her and write it as a book. So I spent 10 years working on it as a book.
Wow,
couldn't get it. Yeah, from the age of 21 to like 30 or something like that.
Okay, wow.
Or not, no, 19 to 30.
I guess I should get started.
Just figure it out. And then I kind of started thinking maybe it's a screenplay, and it's about my own childhood, and I kind of had a bit of a, challenging times. Like my dad was a drug dealer and he was in prison, and then my mother was with this other guy who was, he was a drug addict and crack addict, which is a big thing in the 80s in Miami and throughout the States. And so, just dealing with the kind of absentee parent and also the trauma that was kind of around. I just thought, let me find a creative way to express myself. Yeah. And so that became the premise for Calloused Hands. And it was a very cathartic experience, and being able to kind of talk about those things and some of those traumatic experiences and make something creative out of it. Of course, it was a really rewarding experience. So, it's the film is like pretty much 90% of my life. So,
wow, that's quite a bit. Wow. So was it gathering funding for the film and all this kind of stuff? Was that a challenging process?
Yeah, I mean, it was like it was a micro budget film. Like we kind of had to just make do with what we had. We had an amazing actor, Andre Arroyo, who's in The Wire. Yeah. He did the film for barely any money, and it was just people working really hard for very little, and just with all kind of joined in this collective vision of making the movie. So I'm really proud of just like what that. I mean, not all projects are like that,
I can imagine.
And not all of my experiences on a film set have been as sort of cohesive, but this one just was a bit magical. Still to this day, probably my favorite of the things I've made, and it actually got me the job on Waterloo Road because the execs at BBC watched it.
Oh,
we would love you to bring a little flavor of that to the show.
It's good, man. It's good.
I don't know if I got it as edgy as Calloused Hands on Waterloo Road, but I definitely try to bring a little humanity and some edge to the world.
Yeah, no, you definitely. That's one thing I asked. One thing, because obviously most projects and stuff, when they tackle that nature, they do it a bit on the nose, and they kind of they're writing from outside the bubble sort of.
Yeah.
Like definitely tell and feel these characters were. Yeah. It felt.
Yeah, no, it was true. It was completely honest.
Yeah.
From my point of view.
And like I said, I'm sure a big portion of that was down to the casting.
Yeah.
You mentioned worked with Andre Arroyo.
Yeah, he was incredible.
Was that how was that? Was that a role? How was the process getting cast that role?
I got him through Twitter. I kind of I had a friend reach out to him on Twitter and just DM him. And, he responded. I mean, I had to fly out to LA to meet him, but he just really responded to the role. And my pitch at the time was like, this is going to be like a Miami, more urban Death of the Salesman. You're my Willie Loman, because that's what I viewed it as, like, the little man swallowed up by the American dream, and I think he really got that. And he was a producer on the project. He gave me his time and was completely dedicated. Was involved in the edit. He was just a great ally. And I'm trying to find a project to work with him again on because he's just so amazing. But I was even trying to get him on Waterloo Road, and they were like, what do we do with a New Yorker? And so they love, because they were so excited about it. They love him, but just couldn't make it happen. But he's great. He's really great.
His performance definitely sticks out to me.
Cool.
A bit off topic, but he looks a bit like my Uncle Frederick.
Oh, okay.
And even some of the whenever I see my uncle, he just little mannerisms.
He's definitely he's unlike anyone I've ever met, for sure.
Yeah, that's really cool stuff.
Yeah, cool.
Okay, so just moving on real quick. Could you tell us? You said you're part of the. Is it true that you're part of the British Urban Film Festival? Is that correct?
I used to be. I'm no longer.
Could you just tell me about that whole process and what that really?
It's a very supportive festival in the beginning of my career. I screened my first film, Calisthans. It was like kind of the opening night film. And I was very blessed to have it win Best Feature Film in 2015, which is an amazing experience. So
wow!
Yeah,
congratulations!
Thank you. Yeah, I got a lot of love for the festival. You kind of grow and you people go in different directions. So we're not collaborating anymore. But they will always have a special place in my heart for the way they helped me in the beginning of my career. So.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's really nice. That's really great. So going on with, I guess, being a part of a festival, it's also true that you also have your own company as well.
Yeah, no, my company, it's called Wolf Cub Productions, which is named in tribute of, because all people always ask me, what's the Wolf Cub thing about?
Yeah, where does that come from?
My grandfather's name was Solomon Wolfson, and so my mother and her siblings would be kind of affectionately referred to as Wolf Cubs with their kids, and I just thought when I would start my company, that felt like a nice name, and the 2 O's is the way they spelled their name. But yeah, I've been going for 16 years since I graduated university, and I have produced every film I've made so far through the company. Trying to get it as the Apple movie, I was trying to get it on that one, but it didn't quite work out. It's a little bit
I'm
beyond.
sure things happen.
Yeah, but it's the dream is to really make Wolf Cub a company that is making film and TV. That is sort of trying, with a particular focus on trying to tell stories, that are entertaining, that are, exciting, but that also hearing voices we don't often hear, and that's sort of the mission. And so far, I'm really proud of
stuff. Yeah, it's definitely in your ballpark, for lack of a better term. It's definitely
Thank
something.
You. Yeah,
very achievable.
Yeah. I'm trying. So yeah, no, and I think it's important to have autonomy and like to be in control of your own content and stuff. So where I can, I always try to like be a producer and executive producer and stuff. So
yeah, you're juggling a lot of plates, so I can imagine.
Yeah.
Kind of gotta. All right, but that's cool though. That's cool. The fact that they obviously haven't gone out of business yet, that's already in today's landscape. That's already like a very good sign, because I'm seeing production companies are being sold and bought out and just laying off employee after employee.
Yeah, for sure.
Having those foundations, I'm sure, is something that you can definitely.
Since day one, to be honest, I wanted to have a company. I didn't want to work. Not that I have anything issue working for other people, but I just felt like ultimately I wanted to. You see a lot of people I admire that are doing it. Like David Oyelowo has got his own company. Daniel Kaluuya. And I guess I do always keep an eye on like the black filmmakers, because we're kind of working in that prism, and I look at people that I admire and respect, and so I kind of look, how are they navigating this space? As a sort of perceived outsider. So I have a vested interest in that, and some of those the way they've managed to kind of tell their stories has been really inspirational. So I'm just trying to be part of that kind of movement.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah. Great. So ask you about another one of your projects. One of your most recent ones, Cage Fire.
Yeah.
So obviously you've had at this point you've had 2020. So about 2020. So
it's a while ago.
I mean, just around the corner.
Yeah.
I imagine from Calisthans you had a bit more just, I guess, confidence in yourself and just control and stuff. So how was that process, being able to kind of film something? In a bit of a bigger budget and
for sure. I mean, it was like I think 10 times the budget or 5 times the budget of Calisthans. It was an experience, because like with Cage Fighter, I was like kind of getting, now somebody was giving me investments. It was there was like financiers and debt financing and pre-sales, and so I got an eye opener into the business of film. It was shot in Canada, and it was an amazing experience. I'm really proud of the film, and it wasn't an easy shoot, because it was fighting and choreography, and actors.
I imagine that
got injured.
Must have been a step up from
big time. Yeah. But that helped me on Water the Road, because I learned about like dealing with crowds and dealing with like kind of challenges and stuff. So it was a great experience to kind of like learn how to like navigate a lot of logistical challenges on a shoot, and It was a bigger operation than Calisthans, but yeah, I'm really proud of, in particular the fight choreography. I was really happy with kind of how those scenes turned out. So yeah, no, I mean, it got a bit affected by COVID. It was released during the COVID epidemic, so we were meant to have like a 10-city theatrical release in the States, and then that kind of got pulled because of COVID, so it ended up being more of like a streaming release, which it is what it is.
No, I'm sure the opportunity is coming back around.
Yeah, let's see.
Let's see. You'll get something. No, that's great. That's great because it definitely shows that you got this bigger scale, and I know that can be challenging, but that's really nice. You've had a nice experience.
Absolutely.
With that, I know you're probably itching to talk about it, but I guess we can talk about your most recent work that you stumbled across. So again, Waterloo Road, like you said, it's back. I remember even growing up, it was always one of those programs that you'd see on the TV guide. So like I said, you're the helm of it. So how's that been? How's that been going for you?
I mean, it was great. It was one of those things where I knew the executive producer, and I heard through the grapevine that he was bringing it back, and as my agent said, maybe it's worth dropping him a line to see if you could get your foot in to direct. So I wrote to him. His name's Cameron Roach. And I said, look, if you're going to bring it back, if you need a director, I'd love to throw my hat in the ring. Not thinking that anything much of it. Yeah, and then he called me for a meeting. I had a meeting with the producer. And then went well, and kind of we went off. And then I didn't hear her for a few weeks, but he kind of kept saying, don't go anywhere, just sit tight. We're trying to work on it. And then we went for a follow-up meeting, and he said, how would you feel about being the lead director of the show? And I was surprised because I know the way things work, and I thought BBC will need to sign off on it. Maybe they'll feel a little bit nervous about a director that has never done TV, because that was my first TV credit leading. I thought maybe they give me a middle block, because that's the way it usually works. If you don't know somebody, or someone's like an unknown entity, they will give a middle block, because the lead block and the closing block are the kind of more ambitious blocks, and they're the ones that are more risk with them. So I said I answered honestly. I said, I know I can do it, but I don't know that BBC will go for it. But if given the chance, I won't let you down. Like, that's what I said. And then definitely had to jump through some more hoops. In TV, there's a thing called a tone meeting, where you have, especially when you're the lead director, you'll have them come into a room, or it could be on Zoom, and you have to walk through what the tone of the show is going to be. Like, that's the big thing. Is like, what's the show going to feel like? It's not so much about the shooting style or whatever. It's more like, what's the overall package, and how are you trying to let the audience walk away?
Okay.
So they came into this room, and I walked. There was a big set piece, which is a riot sequence in the opening episode. So I had these very meticulously drawn out storyboards, and walked them through kind of like this big set piece. And I think it was talking 20 minutes uninterrupted. And this is in front of 10 BBC execs and my 50-person crew, so it's quite nerve-wracking,
I can
and you really got to
feeling.
you got to pitch. You got to kind of like, this is how this sequence is going to go. This is how it's going to feel. This is where I want the audience to be. Did that, and then they still had more questions, so then I had to do another tone meeting. This one over Zoom, and finally I got the job. It was definitely. I mean, we had to do camera tests, screen tests, all kinds of things. So it was a baptism of fire, and I really had to show my stuff,
Yeah.
But I mean, the experience itself was amazing. I'm really proud of the work we did. We touched on some really
you should be
powerful. Yeah, it wasn't easy though. It was definitely a tough old shoot. We had some big set pieces where we had like 200 extras and supporting artists and stuff like that, and had to be on top of our stuff. But hopefully. People resonate with it.
Yeah. Just a question I have for myself. Obviously, Waterloo Road is, like you were saying, it's for a bit of a younger audience. And obviously compared to Calisthans and Cage Fighter, I'm sure those are a bit more mature in tone. So you mentioned about the toning, but is that like a problem? That one of the biggest problems you'd say you kind of
tone is definitely it's one of the trickiest things to pin down. Like, what is the thing? I think especially when you're writing or when you're directing, it's sort of like it's the thing that's hard, probably the most intangible thing to kind of to touch on, but it's the thing that I think separates a good film from a bad film, or a great film from a good film, or TV show. And Yeah, I'm still learning about that stuff. You know, it's hard to kind of put your finger on it, but that's definitely, I think, you know, at the end of the day, especially for when you're a director, really what you're being judged on is your taste.
Yeah.
It's your taste moment to moment. Yeah. And then how that all collectively results in a finished product. So it's like, that's really what that was about. It's like kind of, my taste is X, Y, is this. And that's what they're trying to get at.
Yeah, no, I can understand that.
Mm-hmm. And then you're using whatever tools you can to show that, whether it's a sizzle reel or, you know, stills or storyboards, whatever it is to just show this is how this thing's going to feel, you know.
Sorry, I just have another question as well.
Yeah.
Are the actors, how's it like working with, obviously, I know you've had experience with directing younger actors, but obviously I can imagine, you know, that energy that they all probably are bringing. No, I mean, a fun process? Oh, sure, it's a fun process.
Yeah. I mean, it was an interesting one because some of the actors had been on the show already, like Angela Griffin and Adam Thomas. So some of them had been on the show for 10 years, and there was this gap where they hadn't been on the show, and then there was others that were like completely new. So it was an interesting process. Like with the ones that had been on, it was really finding out and building a timeline with them. What happened to your character between 2010 to now? Yeah. For the other ones, it was more of a blank slate, and we could build it together. But with the ones that had played the roles already, I wanted to be respectful of the work they'd already done. We weren't trying to go off-piste and do something completely different. Of course. It was more about tracking what happened from the past to now.
Since we last saw them.
Yeah. Building that together, though. And which is really exciting. I mean, Angela Griffin's amazing, and she knew her character inside out, and she's a very intelligent actress. She cares about the work she's doing. So, you know, her in particular, she was my number one on the call sheet, you know, we had a long conversation about that when we were starting. It was a really special moment, you know, because she told me that was the first time she'd ever been a number one on the call sheet, was that season of the show.
Oh, wow.
So, I got a lot of time for her, and she's definitely somebody I hope to work with again.
Okay, great. Great. It sounds like you really had your hands full.
Oh, for sure.
With Waterloo Road. That's really good.
Yeah.
Are there any projects like you're working on currently, or anything you'd want to kind of move on towards outside of obviously your company and?
Yeah, I mean, there's one. I sold a script to Apple TV. I can't really talk too much about it because we're in the middle of the strike. But that's one thing that I'm really excited about. I'm writing a spec script. I'm a big fan of spec writing, which means like writing on my own steam. So I'm not waiting for someone to commission me. So I'm trying to finish that, and then I got commissioned to develop a TV series, which is another kind of YA type thing. And then young adults, and then I am going back to Waterloo Road in season 15, so January, to direct 2 more episodes. So that's kind of the current.
All right, no, cool. Okay, so things on the horizon. So I guess we'll be looking out. Also, another quick question as well. Outside of your mother, obviously, when you were, is there any like filmmakers or anything that really, you know, gave some inspiration to you and really made you, you know, go have something to make and think,
for sure.
That's good. That's
I think right now the 3 that I kind of lean on is just sort of their personalities, but their work would be Oliver Stone.
Oh,
love his work. Antoine Fuqua, you know, Training Day and more recently Emancipation, and love the way you can kind of hop between commercial stuff, but that also feels like there's something it's saying, there's a message behind it.
Yeah.
And Spike Lee, those would be the 3 that kind of really, I look at their careers and I'm like, I'd love to kind of do something like that. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Cool. I guess now if I could ask you, actually I'm a young filmmaker, ambitious filmmaker. Obviously I'm like right at the kind of cusp of this whole, you know, wave that is filmmaking. Is there any kind of any tips or any advice that you could kind of give to me and to other filmmakers out there about how to really kind of come into your own? And
one is like maybe just having a plan of what you want to do, because I think there's so many directors out there, whatever the role is. It's just like, I wish I had identified sooner, like, do I want to do TV? Do I want to do film? What kind of films do I want to make? Like, just am I a genre storyteller, or do I want to just do drama? Like, I think people underestimate how important genre is. And, like, it came to me later, but, like, I kind of found a little niche where I was like, okay, I want to make thrillers. I really want to focus on that genre. And that's what I'm focusing right now. So I think kind of if there is a genre that resonates, almost like become a specialist in that thing.
A specialist in
whether it's horror, like horror people are the best at it. Where you find, I know some horror filmmakers and they're just obsessed with that genre.
Yeah.
They read about it. They watch every film that's ever been made in that genre, and they're like, great. I think there's space to do that in other genres like action, thriller, sci-fi, and so I wish I'd known that sooner. Like,
Okay.
I kind of had a bit more of a blank slate approach to genre, and I think that's one thing that kind of since I've got a bit more narrow with it has helped me.
Okay. No, great. Because like I said, it's a whole way of filmmaking. So,
yeah.
And there's a lot. Because I know I've been able to meet a couple of cinematographers, and like I said, they do a bunch of music videos, TV commercials. There's kind of shorter projects where they kind of get to work on something and work on another thing.
Yeah.
But, like I said, trying to find like one thing, and I guess trying to stick to it might be. Can get a bit caught up.
Absolutely. Yeah. But I mean, I guess the other bit of advice: just keep making stuff. The more you do, the better you get at it. So,
is there anything outside of the British Urban Film Festival? Have you been involved with any other kind of events or like awards?
I've recently become a member of BAFTA.
Oh wow! Really?
Yeah. So that was a recent thing. I said, a full member. So that's been pretty cool. Been made a member of Directors UK as well.
Yep.
So I'm part of that. I was a BAFTA juror last year, or this year actually, and a juror for the RTS Awards. So those are kind of new things that.
Okay.
And they kind of came off the back of some of the TV stuff I was doing. So.
Wow. So does that mean like you're gonna be what? You're gonna be involved in just in the voting, I guess.
Yeah.
And for next years.
Yeah.
Wow,
so I'm a BAFTA
really cool.
voting member, so that's pretty cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Wow. So I guess you'll be seated at the
Royal
Albert Hall.
I don't know if we get a ticket to the thing, but you get cool perks. Like you get to, I take all my meetings now at BAFTA when I'm in town, and the screenings that they have and all that kind of stuff. So that's some cool perks to it.
Wow, that's really cool.
It's only taken me 16 years to.
No, I mean, I can imagine but that's a really huge kind of.
Yeah, that was a special moment.
UK, the BAFTAs are.
Yeah, and it was pretty cool to take my son to lunch there a few weeks ago, and he was really proud of me. So that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Could you tell us, why you think it's important to sort of kind of train young filmmakers, young creatives, young people looking to get into the industry? Could you tell us, why you think that's important, and what do you, obviously outside of your company, and I'm sure you're doing a lot, but could you just tell us in general why not?
Yeah, I think it's hugely important. At the end of the day, our art, and I learned this back in university. When I was studying theater, is that our art or our expression really is a mirror to society. That with the things we create is putting up a mirror to society and reflecting back a reality, whether it's subjective or objective, that they can kind of look at. And our whether it's plays or films or whatever, we're using our art to challenge audiences, to reaffirm things, to provoke them. And if you're only having that being created by artists from one strand of society, like the upper or middle class, then you're only seeing one form, one type of story.
Yeah, of course.
And so for me, I've always been very passionate about supporting communities that are not always sort of given those opportunities to tell those stories, or that are overlooked or neglected or dismissed. I didn't have the easiest start in life, and I felt it very important to tell my story, which is quite complex. But it felt, somebody else could have come in and told that story, but I felt it was really important for me to tell that story. And so I feel it really important as my role as an ambassador of the screen community to kind of support people that are, trying to find the tools, because at the end of the day, you have to respect that this is a craft. Filmmaking is a craft, and you have to study it and learn it, and to kind of have the tools to tell their own stories, so that's why I think it's important.
All right, I guess we should get to know a bit more about you. So I'm going to ask you some fast fire questions, that's all right. So writing or directing? Which one?
Directing.
If you could choose. Directing?
Directing, yeah.
All right, cool. Hollywood or Pinewood?
Hollywood.
Hollywood? Yeah, Hollywood. If you were to go on holiday, would you rather go explore the beach or mountains?
Beach.
Beach? Nice beach? Yeah. Again, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. I'm going next week, actually.
I can take the man out of Miami.
That's right.
Take Miami out of the man. You've been in the UK for a bit. So I guess I have to ask you, Nando's or pizza?
Nando's.
Nando's.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Winning you over
Yeah.
slightly. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, yeah.
Peaky Blinders or Mad Men?
Mad Men.
Mad Men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to see Peaky Blinders. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, okay.
But
That's what Craig
yeah,
says.
I'm a whiskey guy, so Mad
Oh.
Men is like.
Okay, of course.
Yeah.
Okay. Festive one. We looking forward to Christmas or New Year's?
I'm on New Year's.
New Year's?
Yeah, I like setting goals
Fair
on
enough.
New Year's. So.
All right, yeah, New Year's. Scorsese or Coppola?
That's a tough one. I think my favorite films are more Coppola's films, like
Okay.
Godfather and Apocalypse Now. But
Yep.
overall, I think Scorsese.
Scorsese?
Yeah. 'Cause Coppola's, when he's good, he's really good, and he's like kind of majestic. But as an overall body of work, I think Scorsese.
Okay, cool. You probably already given your answer away, but beer or champagne? Gonna celebrate.
Champagne. Yeah.
Okay, champagne.
Yeah.
Champagne's the real one.
Yeah.
I guess Breaking Bad or The Wire.
I gotta go with Breaking Bad, actually.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I figured you already had a team member in one
Yeah,
of them.
no,
Okay,
it's-
Breaking Bad. You can't. Crisps or chocolate?
Chocolate.
Chocolate?
Yeah.
Chocolate person?
Yeah,
Okay, that's
yeah.
good. That's good. When you're over.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it was fun. Thank you for having me.